Good afternoon and good day, everybody. This is Carter Froelich with the Property Ledger, and glad that you joined us here again today to discuss a topic which is near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure it is to yours as well, and that is how much money will our property be generating after our expenses? Or in other words, how do we estimate net operating income for an income-producing property? Well, let's just jump right into today's subject by taking a look at what the formula is for estimating net operating income, or NOI. And as you see before you is the formula, which is nothing more than our formula for effective gross income, which is scheduled rents plus other income less our vacancy allowance. And if you need a refresher course on this, I encourage you to go back and take a look at our video related to the determination of effective gross income. From EGI, we're backing out our operating expenses, which we also discussed in a video. So if you need the refresher course, please go back and take a look at that, bringing us to the net operating income. Let's jump into a numeric example, shall we? Here we have a single family home that's being sold for $75,900. We have closing costs associated with that acquisition of $900. We have repairs that have to be brought in to bring this property up to a rentable condition of $12,000 for a total cash investment of $88,800. Based on our analysis of the market, we determined that our gross scheduled rents for this property would be $12,900. We back out a vacancy and a credit allowance that we've determined based on our market analysis of $1,000 to determine our effective gross income of $11,868. From this, we have gone through and estimated our operating expenses, which you see before you, totaling $5,225, to come up with our net operating income of $6,643. Now, if we're going to look at this net operating income versus our total cash investment of $88,800, that's a cash-on-cash return of 7.48%, which is nothing more than our net operating income divided by our total cash investment. Think of the cash-on-cash return as being similar to a CD. If you give the bank $10,000 to purchase a $10,000 CD, and at the end of the year the bank gives you $600, well, your cash-on-cash return is 6%, or $600 divided by your $10,000 investment. Now, the same thing is true with real estate. So why is NOI so important? Well, we as real estate investors aren't really purchasing an asset. We're purchasing an income stream. And I think you have to think in terms of real estate as that. If we're going to equate it to a stock purchase, when was the last time you ever purchased a stock because you liked the way that the stock certificate was designed? I would argue that you probably never have done that. And in fact, the only reason you bought the stock is because of what it could do for you in terms of generating dividends and appreciation down the road. Same thing is true with real estate. We're purchasing it because of what the cash flow will be generated from that, what the NOI will be, and what will happen over time given appreciation. Second of all, NOI represents the return an investor is receiving on their investment. For instance, if we purchase a $100,000 single-family home and it generates an NOI of $10,000 per year, well, our cash-on-cash return is 10%. For us to determine a lot of different financial metrics as it relates to real estate investing, we have to know what the NOI is. And we're going to be getting into many more of these in different videos as we go forward. Number three, NOI represents the maximum amount available to service debt on a property. Obviously, when we're buying property, we want to make sure that the NOI is going to be greater than the debt service we're going to have to pay on that property, so we have a positive cash flow. To the extent we don't, we've just bought ourselves an alligator, and alligators don't do anything nice but crawl and bite you and eat you alive, and obviously we all want to avoid those alligators. Fourth of all, traditional lenders typically look at the NOI to calculate a debt service coverage ratio. We're going to get into this in more detail in future videos, but the debt service coverage ratio is nothing more than the NOI divided by your debt service. And to the extent that you have a debt service coverage ratio of 1, that means that you're generating sufficient revenue to pay your debt service. To the extent that you have a debt service coverage ratio greater than 1, that means that your property is generating more revenue than that which is required to service your debt. So say for instance your debt service coverage ratio is 1.3, that means you're generating 30% more revenue than your debt service requirement. So obviously lenders are looking for debt service coverage ratios in excess of 1. Last is that NOI determines the value of a property when a cap rate is applied, and obviously the higher your NOI when capitalizing it through a cap rate, the higher the value. And we're going to be getting into this in a lot of detail in future videos, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that now, but suffice it that NOI is the key component along with the cap rate in the determination of value using the income capitalization approach. We hope this video has been helpful for you, and we look forward to you participating in future videos and tutorials down the road. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a service to you here today. Thank you.